missing free throws, and I don't want to hear any more fucking Boston fans talking about referees or anything like that. There's really no more
Who's talking about
excuses.
referees?
Celtic fan.
Every Celtics fan on
Like
earth,
on my
Not,
timeline,
not on
yeah,
yours, not on
and,
mine.
31 to
and,
15,
and
bro.
Hey, hold up. How can they talk about refs and they had like a 15 free throw difference? Like, how is that possible? Are they being for real?
Also,
yeah,
also free
yeah,
throws aren't indicative of the refereeing. Also, like it's not
yeah.
that's not the whole picture.
I seen guys
What?
talking about like bad
What?
calls.
What? What? That's crazy.
Hey,
Yo,
hold on.
That's
Is this a
that
real?
is
Is
crazy,
absurd!
this
man.
a real thing right now?
Absurd, man!
Free throws is how you
So
control a
wait,
playoff game,
hold
man.
on, hold on. The one play
Dre,
here's
go
the
ahead. Go
hold up.
ahead, Dre.
This is what people fail to realize because we get so caught up as fans in our emotions. The refs kind of allowed both teams to play a lot tonight. There was that one play where the Warriors were up by 5 and Klay Thompson had it. Marcus Smart slapped the shit out of his thigh. I heard it on my TV. Like I had my TV at 100 volume. Like I'm psychotic. Like I was listening to the shit like I was in the fucking arena. And I hear him slap it, Klay Thompson. They didn't call it. I was like, what the fuck? And then Klay pushes off of Marcus. That should have been an offensive foul. And then he settles and hits the open three. But the point is that they're letting them go both ways. On and off the ball, Celtic defenders, Warrior defenders are allowed to be physical and the offensive players are allowed to be physical in their own right. The refs are just deciding which one is more egregious. Like if the push off was more egregious, then that they should call it to the point where they should call it, then they'll call it. But the thing is, like, dude, I'm seeing all these dudes foul on both ends. I'm seeing Draymond foul dudes, Wiggins foul dudes, Steph foul dudes. They're not calling it. But then I'm seeing Marcus foul dudes off the ball. I'm seeing guys pull Steph and guys are making contact and Steph is driving to the rim. Al Horford got him. But in the end, it's just a physical game between two physical teams when they play, when they match that physicality. I just think the refs kind of let them play. I thought the Mark Davis, Tony Brothers balance was pretty fair tonight because you saw Mark Davis made some favorable calls for the Celtics. You saw Tony Brothers maybe made some favorable calls for the Warriors. But in the end, it's just I really don't think any game this series has been egregiously officialed other than game 4
Yeah, there
because
was
Steph
one.
got
Was
fouled
it
on
game
some
four?
crazy ass shots. But
Yeah,
even then, I'm not even going to complain about that because in the moment as a fan, you're emotional. You're like, "What the fuck, Steph? That's an and one." But other than that, like when you step back, you got to understand it's the finals and it's the Garden, and you got to play through it. If you're really a champion, you're going to win that game. And Steph Curry came out that game on top. The Celtics, Jaylen Brown was attacking the rim. Sure, there was some contact, but in the end, off the ball, when the Warriors run their stuff, there's contact there as well. So to me, I just think it evens out, it balances out. The better defense usually comes out on top, and the Warriors have been the better defense for 3 out of the 5 games.
also going into game 6, Dre, you remember when I said just like we win game 4, we'll win game 5, and then
Yep, you said that.
and then we win game 6 like this. So we're not going 9 for 40 from 3 again. Steph isn't going 0 for 9 again. This was Boston, like
Facts.
everything that Boston needed to happen with in terms of our 3-point shooting and Steph 3-point shooting happened for them, and they still they just don't have answers because now it's like, okay, what do you do with Wiggins? What do you do with Clay? What do you do with GP? You they don't have enough answers, and we've already figured it out. Like it's over. There's no more game planning. You try to blitz Steph, then look what happened. Everybody else is open. So
So
this
if
series is done next game.
Boston plays that
Yes,
same
sir.
defense on Steph in Game 6, he's gonna light him up.
Yeah.
Like once he figures out how people are defending him, and that's why like when they switch it up like that, and when they're just pressing him like that, like it takes a while to adjust to it. Even for him, like he's a rhythm guy, like he's a pattern guy. Like he was literally taking the same shots the first 4 games, and they were just giving them to him. But if they play that same defense in Game 6, he's going to light them up. If
So
all we're
Case,
doing is
it's like
is wait.
he got like accustomed to what they were throwing at him, right? The first four
Oh yes,
games, and then
that's
tonight was kind
exactly
of
what
like
it
a
was.
feel out for him. But he was still able to figure it out by the second half, right, and start
Yeah,
diming
and
up
that's why I
guys.
say
for
when he's
sure.
throwing those turnovers like that, like it's like they're throwing different stuff at him. Not that he's confused, but he just like you'll see him like you see he did it last game, like and he did it I think in another series where he just throws the ball in the corner expecting somebody to be there. It's like he's not even looking, but he just expects somebody to be there, and usually somebody's supposed to be there. I think Gary Payton was supposed to be there in that last game, but the way that he plays, it's like it's a it's a pattern in his head, and he's looking for his spots. He's looking for the players to be where they're at, and if they play that same defense that they because it wasn't like they were just all out trapping him and blitz him every time. They just pressed up a little more. They made
Yeah,
him step back a little more. They made him think a little more, and it just threw off his rhythm a
Case,
little
you
bit.
know
But
what
he
it is
still
though?
made all the right plays.
This is why I say Steph is the greatest offensive player ever, because to me there's four subdivisions of offense. I don't weigh them equally, but there's four subdivisions nonetheless. It's on-ball scoring, off-ball scoring, on-ball playmaking, and off-ball playmaking. You can take away the on-ball scoring from Steph by trapping him, but now he's an off-ball playmaker. He's running around, creating advantages. You take away his off-ball scoring by face guarding him, he becomes an off-ball playmaker, allowing the. Do you know how many possessions tonight the Warriors played 4v4? 4v4. Like, I don't think people register that's an
The
advantage in
first
and of
quarter, he was
itself.
just standing at half court.
Exactly. Marcus Smart was just face guarding the man for the first quarter, and Steph leaned into it because why would you force possessions when Wiggins and Clay have advantages in a more spaced out court? He's
And you
just
have
creating
all
space.
that space.
Exactly, exactly. And then you take away the on-ball playmaking. Well, now he'll just be a scorer because you're probably going to cut off the roll man. Like it's the same shit. So right, like the first 4 games they cut off the on-ball playmaking from the Draymond perspective, and they said Steph be a scorer. That's where the on-ball scoring comes in. So again, you cut one thing off, he has another counter to one of the highest levels you've seen in any category. Jason Tatum, on the other hand, and mind you, Tatum's an incredible player, but if you take away his scoring, he can actually still play make. But the problem is the Warriors didn't take away they took away his playmaking. Now he has to score at a high clip, and it's hard for the Celtics to win for over a 48-minute sustainable game to be like sustainable. Like the man had 22 points in the first half and had 5 points in the second half. It's hard. It's not
And
easy. Like the finals.
Tatum is a pretty good playmaker, but he's not an elite playmaker.
That's the other thing.
He can do enough to get he can do enough to get
There's
7 or 8
levels to it.
assists.
Yeah, there's levels to it. Exactly. So this is where you see the all-time greats. Like this is why people say the best player in the series, of a series when teams are generally evenly matched and generally, even talent. The best player in the series, whoever that they're on, whoever's team they're on, they usually come out on top. Like because they have more counters and they're more elite at the counters that they can, take advantage of.
You could also see like in the post game, like Boston's defeated, and now we get to go into the TD Garden, and we get Game 6 Clay, and we get Steph on a bounce back because he never has two bad
oh
games in a
boy,
row like this. So we took care of business at home, and now we get oh man, now we get to celebrate all over their fucking court.
yes sir.
It's
There's
over.
only there's
It's
one
looking
player
ugly.
there's only one player I'm worried about on the Celtics in game 6, and that's Marcus Smart, because that guy
Yeah,
he doesn't go out easy. Like he might have 24
Yeah,
or
he don't care
like
about nothing.
he's going to go out swinging, and that's a guy that you want to keep bottled up and contained. Al Horford is another type of dude that's of that fabric where these guys don't go out easy. Now I'm not
Yeah.
saying Tatum and Jaylen Brown will, but I'm saying you can limit some of their stuff. You can get into their head. You saw with Draymond's antics, but Marcus Smart is not going out without a fight. So you gotta match that energy.
The thing is, Dre, the formula's been solved. It's like if Boston don't make 8 threes in a quarter, you're gonna win the game. And Steph is gonna have a bounce back game. Clay is gonna have his game 6 thing. The series is over. They showed their hand tonight in terms of how they played Steph. That was the only adjustment they could make. If they go back to letting Steph cook, he's just gonna destroy him. Like the Warriors haven't made any adjustments to the entire the series besides putting Draymond on Jalen one game, and they went back to Clay on Jalen. So
They started Otto. That was one
You
adjustment.
think they
That's
might?
not true. They can't even play Draymond at the end of the fourth quarter. They're subbing him on defense in
You think
game
they might
four.
I don't
go
They've
think
made
full on,
adjustments.
in this day and
full
age they're
on
doing that
double teams in Boston? Like
because
at this point,
when you guard
I wouldn't be
Steph like
shocked.
that, you open up the game for Draymond.
you go
That's
to
why
Hey,
he looks
yep.
so much
hold on,
different
hold on,
tonight.
hold on, hold on. I seen Bill Simmons pose a question this morning. Is Tatum more hurt than he's letting on?
Dog, that was so ridiculous when I seen that
That
shit.
was
I could
so
not believe it.
disgusting. Yo,
So
Urkel,
shameless.
the backlash that would happen? Steph really hurt his foot bad. Like when I saw Steph, I'm not gonna lie, it felt like I kind of had a PTSD moment from 19 because I thought that was the series. Like as soon as that happened, I turned to my
Yep.
dad. I was like, "That's the series," because his face, he looked like he was in. Like those. When Marcus Thompson writes his articles and he says like Steph, like he'll kind of insinuate Steph was kind of like in tears almost, or like it looked like Steph was gonna cry because it looked like he's like, "Fuck, that's the series." Like I thought he knew it was the series. So if there's anyone that should be complaining about injury, it's Steph, and he'll never complain about injury. And when Warrior fans bring up injuries, like everyone's like, "Oh, when Steph plays bad, he's injured." So I don't want to hear it. Like in the end, everybody's hurt. Robert Williams is incredible, but he's hurt. Steph might be hurt. Tatum's probably still hurt. Everybody's hurt. In the end,
Steph is definitely hurt. I think
if
he
you're
kind of tweaked it tonight too.
if you're on the court, if you're on the court, you're healthy enough to play. Let's
Clay
stop
rolled
trying
his
to.
ankle hella bad too.
But
We're
but
not
the
gonna hear
Ooh.
nothing.
but the thing is the
Limped
energy
twice
is
and
never
didn't do it again.
the same because yesterday, well, 2 days ago, Windhurst was like, "Well, Steph is not injured. He just was scared." Clearly tonight, we could tell he wasn't injured because he scored 43 points, and they did the same thing today on ESPN. Steph is not hurt. He's not hurt. So it's different for certain players. If it's LeBron or KD, we'll hear about the injuries. But Steph, 6'3", the smallest guy on the court, has to be LeBron physically for his stature. It's never the same energy. We just gonna get that. They
Never.
get that fourth ring. He get that Finals MVP because he will get it. The narrative isn't going to change. Just be prepared for the goalpost to be moved. Like Steph literally have to get like 6 to
Hey,
7 rings before we see any kind of
Yeah,
goalpost being
just give me
shifted
4
to
more
what it needs to
quarters.
be
I don't give
normally.
a fuck what they
4 more
say.
quarters, bro. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
care
give a
about
fuck
it.
what
At
they
that
say.
point, I've become so numb to most of the narratives, anyways. Like
Right, Casey? It's like no one
if
even cares
all
what
of
these
that,
fucking bozos
yeah,
say anymore.
I don't even care.
Like
That's why,
no
like,
one
I see
cares what
stuff
they
on there.
say.
It's hard not, and there's still some stuff I see, and it kind of gets you. But most of the stuff, like I be scrolling through there, and I'm just laughing, bro. Like Bill Simmons is a clown. Like I see him say that stuff, and I'm just looking like, bro, what the fuck?
Hey,
And most of
Shadow,
these dudes I got blocked anyway.
what's today's date? What's today? What's the day of the week, Shadow?
it's a soft Monday, Tuesday on the East Coast, Monday on.
So let me ask this, because Aaron said that it was a Friday and people have lives. Do people have lives on? Where's Aaron, man? Does he have a life on Tuesday? What does he do?
Oh snaps, Dre! That was
You,
I don't forget shit, bro. You think,
Hey,
dude? There's
you
a
GERD.
Austin said
We
he'd
asked
be
him
up in
why
here
he took
too.
2.5 hours to come to the spaces, and matter of fact, I had to send out an APB for him on Friday, and he said, "Oh, it's Friday. People have lives." Okay, okay. So that means you'll be when you lose on Monday, you'll be in the spaces. Uh, we're gonna win, and of course I'm gonna be in the spaces.
Bro,
Okay,
all
Shadow,
I ask of
you
people,
got some
Shadow, is that people
explaining to
answer the basketball
do.
questions,
We'll
bro.
see.
Dre, we won't see him until he pops up as Dame for GOAT next season. For Portland, like thinking they're going to win a championship in
when
2023.
they trade that seventh pick for John Collins. That's when he's gonna.
Yeah, that's what.
Lindell, people get so offended when you start asking them basketball questions. It's crazy.
Bro, they never want to bet and they never want to answer basketball
Bro,
questions.
have
They,
you
they get
noticed that? Have you noticed
Yeah,
nobody
they
wants
get
to
on here,
answer
and
my
that's why they
questions?
get on here and they just talk so greasy. And then you
I
ask them
ask,
something specific about the game, and it's
I
like, well, what
ask
the fuck are you
simple
talking
ass
about? Do you
questions,
not
man.
watch?
Like if you're a Boston fan, forget having to count on Steph going 0 for 9 from 3. Let's just say GP2 scores 6 points instead of 15. You have to hope that he scores 6 instead of 15, and that Steph goes 0 for 9, and that for some reason Andrew Wiggins just forgets how to rebound the basketball. And you're also going to count on the fact that Klay Thompson is not going to do what Klay Thompson do in Game 6. When I say, and like, don't get me wrong, I love spouting facts, I love spouting statistics, but there are people in the spaces. Dre, I'm looking at you, who do that shit way better than me. So I leave it to people who are far better at it than I am. But when I say, when you play the Golden State Warriors and you are fighting a numbers battle that does not favor you, this is the kind of shit that I mean. And it's why I ask the questions that I do. Because when you are counting on Steph Curry to go 0 for 9, you automatically set yourself up for failure, because number one, it's not going to happen, and chances are, we haven't even talked about Jordan Poole and his ability to settle when
He's
it
figuring it
matters.
out. Lindell, he's
We,
figuring it out, my man.
bro, we haven't
He
even
was he was
touched on that,
he
and
was
he's done
pressing
that.
kind of hard in that first half.
This is his third game straight, kind of showing us that he can kind of, and again, from Jordan Poole, yes, we want to see him be able to come out hot, to stay settled, to not turn over the ball, and take the certain shots that he's been taking. But the reality is, this is the first time he's sniffed basketball even remotely close to this. Okay, so there's just a little bit of slack that I'll cut him. Jordan Poole has shown the ability to settle into the moments that matter most in a final series against what is probably the best defense outside of ours in the NBA. So when I say you've got to count on way too many things, statistically improbable things, to go your way when you play the Golden State Warriors, this is the kind of stuff that I mean.
And
I just want people to ask
that's
basketball
why
questions.
Steph,
Lindell
Clay, and Dre.
Case. Lindell
Go
Case,
ahead.
Dre. How do you beat the Warriors when they have competent NBA players on their team? Because they have a
You
counter for
don't.
everything. Like, the thing is, teams, they have like a guy like Steph, not a guy like Steph Curry, he's the most unique player in NBA history. But in terms of their franchise guy, that is their home run, right? You take that away, there's no other counter really. And typically the counter when you play against like LeBron and KD is them just going for 60. There's no other counter unless they have like superstars on their team. With the Warriors, with no superstars, the impact is the same as if you had superstars on your team, because you take away Steph, two of three other dudes go for 20 and other dudes go for like 3 or 4 threes.
I don't think
Like,
people
how
get
do
that,
you
Lee.
beat
Like
this
I don't
team?
think
Elda,
people
I'll tell you.
understand this. I
I'll,
don't think people understand that.
I'll tell you when I knew that the Warriors were gonna like when you give them the appropriate talent right around Steph. Last year they led the league in layups and dunks. Simple as that. JTA, Michael Mulder, and who else? Jordan Poole were our
Oubre.
three. Were our three? No. That was our rotation off the bench
Okay.
because Oubre got hurt. What's his name? Wiseman got hurt. All these dudes got. Oh, Damian Lee had COVID. So consider that we had an 8-man rotation of Steph Curry, Kent Bazemore, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond, Looney, JTA, and Mulder, and then Jordan Poole, and we went 15-5. Steph won the scoring title while also leading the Warriors to the most dunks and layups in the league with that roster, with that lack of athletic talent.
The
There's
fake
a reason.
gravity.
So when we talk about this is why I said when Steph misses shots, like he can get his own. Like he won the scoring title last year with those players being focused on and the focal point of all these defenses, and he still managed to create enough baskets, high percentage looks in the paint. So in the end, like Andrew Wiggins, another year under his belt, he's better. Jordan Poole, he ascends, another year under his belt, he's better. Klay Thompson's back. That's a spacing threat. He still gives you 40% from three. He tries on defense. Better. You got Otto Porter. He can hit the corner three. Can play solid defense, rebound. Better. Like the rotation just got marginally better. I know Clay's a big ad, but outside of Clay, which is a big ad still, but outside of Clay, we didn't really add much. Like we added Kuminga and Moody. Realistically, we just made marginal upgrades. Otto Porter, Andre Iguodala, Bielitsa, and I'd even argue Otto Porter's by far and away the best out of those three upgrades. What did you guys think about the Iggy minutes tonight? By the way, I wanted to ask.
He will be It was good to get him on the floor. He's going to be very important in a few days.
Yeah, I didn't mind him at all.
He
I
just
didn't
bought a
mind him
few
at
minutes
all.
with that
I
Looney
didn't mind it,
Falco
but they kept him nice and short.
Yeah, keep him like
bowl.
within
Yeah,
Nice and
2 or 3
short.
minutes
Keep
at
him
a
nice
it
and
time.
was
short.
desperation minutes with that Looney
He's
Falco
going
bowl.
to be.
It ain't no thing.
He's look they're going to throw at him. I think they're going to try to overwhelm them on both sides. I genuinely don't think they're going to play around with these dudes in Boston. I think they're going to try to overwhelm them on both sides of the ball. They're going to throw multiple looks. What's crazy is we're bordering on the do we even need to throw multiple looks at Tatum territory. That's how good Andrew Wiggins has been. And obviously we saw Gary Payton on him a couple times, but we're getting to the point now where we don't even really need to scheme for Jason Tatum. We have to mitigate his ability, his playmaking opportunities, which Dre referenced earlier. If we can keep him from being a playmaker, settle him into the trap of trying to go mano a mano with Andrew Wiggins, or I take that fade away on Gary Payton 3 to 4 times a game. If we can let him settle into the trap of doing that, we're gonna blow him out. We're gonna blow him
Yeah,
out.
just continue the game plan. Let him take his mid range jumpers. Let Wiggins go at him 1-on-1, and just let him think like they have to win the game by themselves, and that's how you win Game 6. Let them think they got to play hero ball the entire game.
Only 3 players made at least one 3-pointer tonight. Clay hit 5, Gary Payton hit 1, and Jordan hit 3. The starters, only one player hit a 3-pointer at least tonight. Clay hit 5. Wiggins
That's
0 for 6.
insane.
Steph 0 for
Damn,
9.
I didn't even know Clay had 5.
Draymond 0 for 2. Otto 0 for 2.
Shadow, did you see the Tatum
Clay had the
turnover stat?
quietest 21 you ever seen.
Yeah, Clay was incredible. He has some big shots.
He now has 95 turnovers, the most by a player in a single postseason ever.
Oh boy, he's in hell.
Oh man.
Also, fun
Game
stat that the
6.
Warriors just wait, guys, real quick. The Warriors just posted in 1986, Mitchell Wiggins came up clutch in Game 5 of the NBA Finals against the Boston Celtics to lead his team to victory. Same scenario, same opponent. Tonight, his son Andrew Wiggins did the exact same thing.
Dog, they're giving Boston
Yes,
3.5 a
sir.
game. Every game, 3.5 each way. That's crazy.
So we talk about how we only had 6 turnovers today as a team.
Mm,
That was
I don't think we
beautiful.
addressed that. That's
that was
insane.
that was
They
huge.
came
That's a good
out. They
call.
came out fighting tonight. They were taking care of business tonight. That's exactly what we needed to do.
Loving it.
Absolutely.
4
Oh,
more quarters of this shit, and we're
Shit.
right back on top. Oh
They
my
didn't
god.
take a rest.
This is the lowest amount of turnovers they've been averaging in the last like 5
L. Dot,
games
you
for the
know
whole
why
season.
though?
Like
You
the
know
whole
why though?
final
The
series, right?
Celtics don't
You
force
know why?
turnovers. They're not like the Grizzlies, where like the Grizzlies had like long athletic dudes that got in the way.
Exactly.
The Celtics don't have that. They have good
They're more
defenders, but they don't have like guys that get in the passing lane.
They don't
Yep.
they don't have
Yep.
abstract schemes like that where they're gonna pick off like reads and here's the other thing. It's also how they're guarding us.
Yeah,
Like
exactly, right? Because you don't have
like
Dre like running the offense, right? So it's a different kind of defensive adjustment, right? Like
fewer assists equals fewer turnovers. Like we
Oh
because
yeah.
they're yeah.
We finally out assisted them tonight. I think Urkel, you and Dre were talking about it yesterday. We finally got more assists than them.
23-18. Mind you, the Celtics, I remember at halftime I looked at that stat. It was 9 for the Celtics and 10 for the Warriors at halftime. In the second half we out assisted them 9-13. So
how many of you guys knew that today was gonna be the clunker? Because I kind of feeling today was gonna be the clunker.
Wait, what'd you say?
I didn't really think it was going to be the clunker. I thought
the clunger? Oh wait,
no, they're not going to come. They're not going to come in Chase Center and give a clunker. That's not going to happen. That's not.
No, I mean Steph having a clunker, his shooting clunker. Like how much? Like it was gonna happen.
I don't think people
clunker.
understand how. I don't think people even understand how difficult it is for Steph even to have 4 of the games that he had. Like usually, the game that he plays, if you get 2 or 3 of those games that he had those first 4 games out of a series, like that's good. You know what I'm saying? So but when he falls into like when he played the Blazers and they swept the Blazers, it was like 4 games like that.
He played 37 tonight. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't make excuses. Like in the end, I'm just gonna say what I saw. And he missed shots. You can't miss shots, but
yeah,
his legs look gone. I'm not gonna like that. His legs. He was leaving every shot short. He left his first free throw short. He left his almost all of his 3s short. He left that jumper short. So here's the thing: Tatum's leaving stuff short. Steph's leaving shots short. In the end, it's the finals. It's game 6. It's like you got to find a way to win in the margins, rebounding, limiting turnovers, winning possession battles, running crisp offense. That's what wins you. That I knew this game was going to be in the doghouse the first half quarter because I was like, okay, Celtics can't score, but the Warriors aren't putting their foot on their throat. So I'm like, the Warriors will kind of settle in. Celtics might make a run, and then you'll have whoever can kind of take advantage of, the other team's mistakes. And the Warriors did that in the fourth quarter. Mind you, it was a 1-point game going into the fourth. So, and by the way, Wiggins, 35 minutes in game 1, 31 minutes in game 2. And then in game 3, he played 40. In game 4, he played 43. And tonight, he played 43. High Andrew Wiggins minutes is part of this formula of being able to win these games. You need him on Tatum. You need to match his minutes. And he can run the floor. This looks like, he's obviously gotten better, but I remember watching that 2020 season and even 2021, and a lot of the stuff he was doing in those meaningless games, quote unquote, he's been doing tonight, cutting hard, attacking the basket, finding his spots, and then playing high level defense. Like that's all you could ask, and he's doing it at a high level. So Harrison Barnes going 0 for 6 from 3 in the finals game is unacceptable because that's what he's predicated on. Andrew Wiggins went 0 for 6 tonight from 3, and he was arguably one of the best players on the floor, probably a top 2 or 3 player all night because the defense, the rebounding, the scoring, the pressure, and the defense, all of those things, you cannot. This is why when people say we need Wiggins to hit 1 or 2 threes, no, we don't. They're going to give him the shot. He needs to just take the shot. You make or miss it. But in the end, he's going to find a way to give you 20 and 10.